Hi friends. So do you remember a couple years ago when Millie Bobby Brown came out and said that she had a close friendship with Drake? She shared that they texted often and told each other that they missed each other and talked about boys. A lot of people thought this was an innocent friendship and nothing to be concerned about, while the other half of people were rightfully concerned. And let me tell you why. History always has a funny way of repeating itself, especially when it comes to the men in Hollywood. Here's a few examples. Let's take it all the way back to 1919, old school Hollywood. One of the most celebrated movie stars of all time, Charlie Chaplin, at the age of 29, married his wife, 16-year-old Mildred Harris. That marriage only lasted for 2 years, but Charlie went on to repeat his pattern with 16-year-old Lita Gray. Lita was 6 when she met Charlie, and he began taking her out on dates when she was 12. Moving on to 1954, Sam meets 12-year-old Aretha Franklin and brings her to his hotel room. Before Aretha's father could interrupt the interaction, she said the conversation with Sam took a very inappropriate turn. In 1957, 23-year-old Jerry Lee Lewis married his 13-year-old cousin Myra Brown. She still believed in Santa. In 1959, 25-year-old Elvis Presley began dating 14-year-old Priscilla Wagner. They were married a few years later. Elvis has been reported to having a predilection to 14-year-old girls before and after his marriage to Priscilla. In 1973, married singer Marvin Gaye met and pursued 17-year-old Janice Hunter. He wrote his hit song Let's Get It On as a tribute of his lust to her. Within a year, she was pregnant with his baby. In 1975, 27-year-old Steven Tyler purchased guardianship from 16-year-old Julia Holcomb's mother. Purchased! This way he could legally take her across state lines to be a groupie in his band. Trigger warning for this next one. In 1977, very well-known director Roman Polanski drugs and R-words 13-year-old Samantha Gailey. The court gave him an opportunity to plead guilty for a lesser sentence, but instead he decided to flee the U.S. to France. He has been exiled from the U.S., but he certainly has not been exiled from Hollywood. He continues to make movies and win awards to this day. In 1993, 39-year-old Jerry Seinfeld picked up a high school student from a public park. She was 17 years old, and he proceeded to date her for the next 4 years. In 1994, 27-year-old R. Kelly married 15-year-old Alea, who he had met when she was only 12 years old. In 2014, Tyga began dating 16-year-old Kylie Jenner. He was 24 years old. While it was very obvious they were dating before her 18th birthday, after she turned 18, they became very public with their romance. This is just a handful of examples of grooming that's happening in Hollywood. This has been happening for decades, and rich and powerful men in Hollywood continue to get away with it. Let me know if you guys want a part 2. The list of groomers in Hollywood seems to be never ending.